Hi guys, in today's loose floral video we're going to be working on cardinal flowers. So I have a couple of different pictures that I wanted to show you, but this one here, it's a stalk flower, which means that there's a long stem or stalk and the blossoms grow around that stalk. So this is a good photo here because it shows you how the top of the flower forms. So it's like a little tube with the petals closed in a ball at the end of the tube. And as the stalk grows, this tube begins to open up. And what happens is you've got like the structure of the tube and the petals unfold around it. And 3 petals come down and 2 kind of like go out like little wings. So that's the structure. This is just the top section of one of the stalks. So I wanted you to see this. Get rid of that book. This is a good photo of how they grow. They like their feet wet, so they'll be either in a stream that dries out during the summer, or on the side of a stream or whatever. So this also gives you an idea, if you can zoom in, how these blossoms begin to form at the top of the flower, and then as the stalk continues to grow, the petals of the blossoms unfold and they circle the stalk. So with our objective today, what I want us to focus on is, obviously, okay, I have to say that this is a great big huge colossal mess, right? There's a lot going on. It's very confusing. There's the petals going every which direction. There's new flowers forming. There's old flowers that are opened up. All the little leaves and the stalks are further down. So this is really kind of like an overwhelming thing to draw. So what I want us to do is truly focus on a loose sketch. And the way I want us to get to that point is to help our brains really understand the structure of the blossom first. And this is a portion of a stalk. So the top part of the stalk is up off the page, and newer flowers are still kind of like in that tube and the closed ball before they like open up. Here you can see how when the ball opens up, the 3 petals point downward and the 2 go off to the side like little wings. So what I thought we could do is, first of all, practice sketching the blossom itself so that we really understand its structure. Okay, and then we're just kind of like, we know what's going on with the tube and the petals and blah, blah, blah. And we can sketch these blossoms pointed in different directions because that's how they grow all the way around the stalk. So that's going to be the first thing. Then the second thing we're going to do is, when we understand the way the blossoms are put together, we're going to use our pen and just do very loose sketches of a cardinal flower, giving the impression of the blossoms circling the stalk. Okay, so it's a very different type of video today. We're not focusing on shading or anything like that. The key focus today is structure and how to cope with sketching a stalk flower, because even though the blossom itself is different from other stalk flowers, what we're doing is we're figuring out how to give the impression of blossoms growing on a stalk. So whether it's a bellflower or, you know, other varieties, we can use the same approach to those sketches. So what I'm going to do today is I'm using a Micron 1. I have my Dollarama sketch pad, and since I'm not concerned about you know, shading and all that kind of stuff, what I'd like us to do, so you get your scrap paper and any pen that you like, but if you've got a pen that drops a lot of ink every time it touches the page, that's okay. That's okay. You know, because we're not being fussy today. We're just going to try to help our brains understand the structure of these flowers. So, how about why don't we just like start at the top and just practice sketching out something that's a bit of a tube with the petals beginning to flare at the top. There is some, you know, seams and whatnot. And then we've got some of the side, one of the little side petals beginning to happen here. And this is where it actually joins to the stalk. Now let's do this one here. It's kind of like the same. We'll start at the base. And I think this petal belongs to this. It looks like it's, and please don't be fussy and careful and all that kind of stuff, okay? All we're doing is trying to familiarize ourselves with the way these petals are put together. And then the rest of the tube. And then another, this petal, this is a big petal right here. That's all part. And there's some little leaves and stuff too. Great big confusing mess. And then here we can see how it joins to the stalk. So, okay, let's do this one facing us. This is the blossom has completely opened up. So this is like the tube. This is one of the petals to the side. This is a petal to the other side, and the three pointing forward. So to draw a stalk flower, you wouldn't be bothered, right, doing every single one of the 400 blossoms on the stalk. But stalk flowers are really pretty, so if we can just figure out a way to kind of understand what's going on. With them, then it's going to be enough to do a loose sketch. Okay, this is one that's facing us. Now, let's do this one that's another side view. This flower's older than this one. So just start wherever you'd like. We've got some of the leaves. And then we've got the tube, and then see, this is one of the side petals that's, I think it's like joining there and coming straight out at us. I don't know, looks very confusing to me. I don't know how this works. Oh, those are leaves. Let's just go up a little bit. Get the swoop of a petal. And then another petal. Bit of a flare to them. This is like the debris from the casing once the petals have opened up. And these really are stunning flowers. And when the sun is on them, it's like incredible how they look. Oh, I've sort of got distracted and now I'm fussing a little bit. I don't want to do that. Okay, enough nonsense. We already, let's do, now I want to do one going off to this side here, which is going to be easy for you to see. Do you want to try, let's try doing this one here. So this is like the stalk, and then the 3 petals coming down, pointing downward, and then the 2 little wings off to the side. Hey, maybe that's why it's called a cardinal flower, after the birdie. Well, no, I shouldn't say that, because I know that's not true. When the sun is on these flowers, the red is unbelievable. It's really, really super incredible how bright they are. We have our 3 petals pointing downward. And then we've got our 2 petals. It's the little wings that come out to the side. And then we've got the stalk. That's the main structure. Oh, hang on. This goes back here. This goes here, and then it's a little bit fatter behind, where there's the actual, like the stem joins the stalk. And this, the top of this flower, this stalk is behind this petal here, so we can't see it. Okay, let's do one more. I want to do this one pointed out to the side. So let's do, we've got the kind of like the tip, and then the stalk comes down, and then we've got the little petal, that's the wing, it's up, joins the stalk. Now we've got our 3 petals. They have a bit of a flare to them. This right here is a petal that belongs to the flower behind it. So see what I mean about how everything just turns into like this great big confusing mess that is very difficult for our brains to sort of interpret everything that's going on. And the rest of this stalk, where it joins up, you can't even see. Okay. So you get the idea, right? Of just how we need to understand the shape of what's going on with the cardinal flower. We've done some new blossoms that are starting to open up at the top, starting to open up. Some blossoms that are a little bit older and they're beginning to flare. I don't even know where that one, oh, that's this one. And then we've got the older flowers that are completely opened up, facing in different directions. Okay? Now let's put all this newfound knowledge together. So what I want us to do now is think about how the heck we're going to be able to do this as a loose sketch for a stalk flower. All right? Now, so what I'd like you to do is just have your pen. Okay, there's a couple of things that you can try. And you can just use light, loose movements with your pen to get down some of these globes on tubes that you know are going to be opening up, and they're clustered at the top of the stalk. All right? This. Where's my... Can't see. Let me stand up. Okay. So this part right here is what we want to give the impression of drawing at the top of our stalk. Okay? Now, we know that the flowers begin to open up. Close to the top. And they have petals that face down or point downward, and petals that point up, and the stalk, like the tube of the flower, points upward. Okay? And we also know that they grow all the way around, so we can face our petals in different directions. Some facing us, some to the side. You know, we're just going for a loose sketch, and we know that they overlap, they hide each other, there's petals that aren't visible. So we want to add this kind of like confusion to what we're doing. And remember, you can't always see all the stalks and all the petals. But what we want to do is just get in some of these flares, 1, 2, 3, so that people will know it's a cardinal flower. Okay, I hope that wasn't too agonizing. But see what I mean? This is what I want you to do. Just have confidence and move across your sketch, drop some ink to give the impression of the petals, and you're done. Now, let's do another one. So we just want to have some loose globes at the top. And then we've got some blossoms that are beginning to open up. Now we can leave a space, and we've got petals that are facing us. Petals that are pointing away. And in general, the flowers further down the stalk are going to be older, so their petals might be a little bit more droopy. And some of these cardinal flowers, you know, the variety in nature and everything, right? If the nutrients are really good in the ground, then they're super healthy and they've got a ton of blossoms. But basically all we want to do is make sure that we kind of have the impression of petals all around our stalk. Some flowers that are beginning to open up, and we're totally getting into very loose sketching. And then, you know what? You can just add a bit more density. There are no rules. Because these things can be, they can have like a ton of blossoms along the stalk. They can have very few, depending on the growing conditions, right? But the point is, when you spend a few minutes understanding the structure of the flower, you can easily go ahead and do your stalk. So this is by no means simple, okay? It's definitely a technique, but when you understand how the flowers are put together, it's kind of cool just to get the impression down, and then you can say, yeah, I sketched some cardinal flowers today. So, all right, thanks for your company. I'll see you next time.